Welcome to the Premier Coin Report. I'm your host, Isaac, and I am joined, as always, by Kurt from Washington, D.C., Jeff from Florida, and Charles from Vegas will be joining us very shortly. This is your numismatic update. There's lots to cover, a new NFL coin, some very cool stuff coming out of the Canadian Mint with some yellow diamonds, and we'll get into all of that in just a little bit. But we start every single episode with a little game I like to call Guess That Guide. Every single week I bring a new numismatic piece for my experts to guess the PCGS price guide of. Give them a little bit of information about the coin this week. We're looking at a 1903 commemorative Louisiana Purchase dollar in MS68. There were only 8 in this grade and 0 higher, making this the top pop. NGC has 10 in MS68 as well. 9,000 estimated to survive in all grades out of a mintage of 17,500. It's just an awesome coin. I believe the first commemorative half dollar was the Columbian Exposition, which was 1899, correct?
I don't know the exact date, but I can definitely vouch in that the
92. Okay.
92 and 93 for the Columbian Exposition in Chicago. This was for
I should know this.
It's okay. No, you shouldn't.
I just bought an antique 1890s guidebook to the city of Chicago and the Columbian World Expo, so I should know this. But
yeah, I mean, we had huge expositions as a country. The Louisiana Purchase, these dollars were struck because in 1803 we bought Louisiana territory from Napoleon. So you have one with McKinley and then one with I can't remember if it's Jefferson or Lewis and Clark, maybe, or both. So yeah, kind of cool. Oh wait, Lewis and Clark is from a different thing. So it's Jefferson because he was the one who bought the land from Napoleon, and then McKinley, who was president till 1901 until he was assassinated. So it's kind of like the same methodology why we have the JFK half dollars, like to celebrate or to memorialize a recently assassinated president. It's the same deal. So very cool coin.
yeah, absolutely. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff. In MS68, what do you think the PCGS price guide is for this coin?
I don't know. This one's pretty interesting. A 68 is pretty crazy. That's 2 grades away from perfect. I would assume we don't have the PCGS census on this, or is NGC the highest at a 68?
There are 8 in PCGS population, 10 in NGC and MS68.
Oh, sorry, the screen was over that. I didn't see that part. All right, I'm going to go 35,000.
35,000 for Jeff. And Kurt, what are your thoughts?
So these are, the mintages, I believe that some of them were actually melted down due to them not selling out, as was the case with a lot of classic commemoratives, that 1890s to 1950s period. But the McKinley dollars and the Jeffersons, they can be found in their original packaging. I've actually sold one 2 years ago with the original packaging. It was actually a 67 plus PCGS, and I only got like awesome. $4,000 for that. So I'm trying to think. I've never handled an 8. I don't know, 20,000, 25,000, 20,000.
20,000 is your final guess?
Yeah, they're out there in superb gem. It's not like this is the sole top pop. The fact that there's 8 of them already, and I don't know that many collectors chasing top pop classic gold commems. I'd love to meet you. If you are, send me a message. But I'd say 20,000.
20,000. All right. We will let you know the winner at the end of the episode. Leave your guess in the comments and wait until the end to see if you get it right. We're going to move right along to the metals market, which kind of had an explosion over the holiday week. Silver now sitting pretty at 57.05, gold at 42.09. Jeff, you somehow managed to go to Costco and buy gold under spot. Can you explain, after this massive price hike, why and how you got that done?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. We've talked about it when we went to the Bahamas a little bit. The same thing kind of happened there when we got gold under spot. A lot of time, these heavy retailers, they kind of just buy. They list it at a price above their cost, and then they never look at it again. So when you get these situations, it's not just like the gold bars and the gold coins. I've seen some stuff online where you can get a lot of gold jewelry as well, under spot, especially when it made the jump from like $3,500 to $4,000 really quick. So when you see over the weekend, I think we had like a $75 to $100 jump in gold, and I just had happened to stop by Costco on our way home. And I was picking up, I think it was chicken pot pie is what you can see in the back of the video. And I was just strolling by, and surprisingly enough, Costco doesn't have gold a lot. But I saw a beautiful old PAMP bar just sitting in the thing right when you roll into Costco to the left, in the jewelry case. And I just stumbled upon to look at the price, and I was like checking gold and gold features, and I was like, is this right? I was like, they're like, yeah, the maximum is 5, yada yada. I was like, okay, I'll take 4. And I mean, it's pretty crazy when you think about it, because I got them at right around $4,230 a piece for carded PAMP cards. And when you really consider that you get, as an executive at Costco, 2%, and then, with your credit card, you get about 1 to 2%, on a $17,000 purchase, I got around 3% back, on something like that, which was pretty crazy. So when you consider that I bought them at spot, pretty much it was like $20 under spot, and I'm getting 3% back. It's pretty crazy. I called Isaac on my way to pick up that map earlier, and I was like, hey man, can we like make free money out of this? Is there a way that like when gold jumps, we can just go to all the Costco's, buy all the gold on our credit card, bring them across the street to a refinery, sell the PAMP cards at practically spot, and we would make the 2% difference? I was like, that's printing money.
When you got the capital to work with, you can make some moves.
The rich get richer, man. What can I say? That was a brilliant story. It reminds me of the Bahamas story for sure, which was just enthralling. Either our first or it might be like an archived episode. I don't even think that's published anymore. But our first episode, I mean, it just blew my mind. It goes to show you that these, if you know what you're looking at and you understand what coins are and what bullion is and the value of sound money, and you expose yourself to opportunities to seize on deals, the deals will fall on your lap. I was talking to another dealer about this last week, and it's like there's nothing special that Jeff or I do. We just truly love this stuff and learn as much as we can about it, and then try to get in front of as many coins as possible. So deals like gold under spot, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it comes to finding these deals. So Jeff, awesome story. Hopefully that paid for a bunch of pot pies.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, folks, we have a controversial issue to talk about today. We kind of covered it a little bit last week, but it's gotten more controversial since we last talked about it. The very last pennies were struck by the U.S. Mint a couple of weeks ago. They are now live on Stacks Bowers. Bids already coming through. The number one set is at $32,000 right now, coming up on the December 11th auction in 2025. Their estimate for these was $5 million for the first set, which does come with a pair of the canceled dies used to strike the last pennies, but sitting at 32 just a week from the auction, it's not looking super good. The controversial part of this is the way that the guy held the coin when he minted it. He pretty much just held it with, right on the face. I'm sure there's a massive fingerprint right below Lincoln's head. But the other side of it is that some people are saying that this is not technically the last business strike Lincoln sent, because the last business strike Lincoln sets were minted back in August, and then they minted like these last 232 sets within the last couple of weeks with a new mark. So technically, it's a different coin. It's not the business strike Lincoln sent. These are not being circulated. So that's sort of where the vibe of the community seems to stand at this point. I do know of a couple of people who have thrown bids on there. I know Jeff has put a couple of bids on there. Jeff, why are you going after one of these sets?
So to be honest with you, I mean, these are to commemorate mainly the ending of an era, right? So yes, I can see the argument between these technically being different coins, especially when the U.S. Mint is making privy coins and designating those as whole different coins from regular coins. So I can definitely see the argument there, and I agree with you. I could possibly agree with you on that one. But at the end of the day, these last coins were mainly to commemorate the ending of making this exact coin, and the Omega mark is just the sign to pretty much, let you know that these are those pennies to commemorate that moment in time. So realistically, the U.S. Mint has done this a couple of times with Stack's Bowers. They did it with the first and last American Gold Eagle set and American Silver Eagle set, where I think the American Silver Eagle, the last one and the first one, sold for like $80,000 a piece.
Right.
So obviously they didn't put a privy mark on it, which is creating the debate. But realistically, if it did have the guy's thumbprint on it, I'd probably pay a little bit more if he signed it, honestly. So I've bid on a couple of these. I think that this is going to be, a huge win for anyone that's in the collector's series. I think there's like less than 250 of them. And the ones with the dies are already over 200 grand. So, I mean, I think what you're going to see here is a lot of snipe bids by a lot of mainly retailers, because unless you listen to our channel, you really don't know these exist unless you're really intertwined with the coin community. So, I'm hoping a lot of people see this out there. And I hope they log on to Stacks and get their, get a chance, because, this is a coin drop like there was no other. This is it. This would be like if Jordan came back and were to wear 240 shoes, and be like, all right, we're done. We're no longer making Jordans anymore. And yeah, I'm sure the community would be like, oh, well, these shoes weren't released to Nike and the regular people didn't get them. Sure, yeah, you're right. But if they stop making Jordans and Jordan were to sell the last 250 that like he did something with and whatever, it's a landmine. So it's only in the coin community where something like this is just, it's glossed over, in my opinion.
Yeah. So here's that last set here. 260,000 is the current bid.
So it's gone up $40,000 since last night.
We're still quite a ways away from 5 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's maybe my main contention with it, is that they estimated it at 5 million and it isn't the last penny. The last penny, if they actually took the last business strike Lincoln sent and were able to document that and put it in a slab, that if I had $5 million to spend,
you're
on a
saying
coin,
two different things at once.
Yeah.
It's very clear to me what's going on here. It is not the last, business strike sent, in the fact
it says
that
very last circulating cents.
Why does it say
That's what it says.
Circulating?
It says very last.
Why does it
the very
say that?
last
Well,
circulating
in
cents.
reality, the coins are awesome and they're cool and they will always hold value. Maybe not as much. I don't know if they'll appreciate or depreciate, but they'll certainly be worth more than what, face value, inherently, because they are the last issues of this denomination that's been so fabled and so publicized, right? And they have that low mintage. So in order to collect as previously discussed, in order to collect a complete set of cents. Now, we've made cents every year since 1793, with the exception of 1815, right? So in order for someone to build the full set, 1793 to 2025, which, by the way, is a very common pursuit of many collectors. It's helped me get started in coins. I had a set going back all the way to 1793 when I was young. And, it's a pursuit that's very common. And everyone is going to need an Omega, of which there are only 232, like Jeff had mentioned, 232 obviously commemorating the length of the denomination. So this is almost more of a commemorative striking, specimen striking, than it is a circulating cent. So I'm confused as their wording there. I'd love to hear if they have a FAQ section about why they deem them circulating cents, because they never were intended to circulate, and unless one gets cracked out by that GoFundMe guy, they never will circulate, right? So I think it's a great coin. I hope it raises a bunch of money for the taxpayer. I don't know who gets all this money, but You know, I'm glad they're acknowledging the end of a denomination, because that's something historically that hasn't been done. If you look at when we ended the half cent, there was no special half cent or special 3 cent or special half dime or special 20-cent piece. These are all denominations that we had. And when they ended rather unceremoniously, right? Because the mint wasn't thinking about what collectors were feeling at the time. So this is a nice tip of the hat by the U.S. Mint. And I'm glad that it's happening. I think it'll be cool. I'm a little bit sad that they didn't make more of them, or that they didn't release them into circulation. Hell, if they only made 232,000 of them, right, which is 100,000 times more than what they made, they'd still be, half the mintage of the '09 SVDB.
Yeah, I agree. They should have made like 1 million of these and just threw them into circulation and called it a day.
That's what I really think.
Like create a nationwide coin hunt.
And then as a middle ground, do take the very last one with the fingerprint and consign that and have that go with the big bucks. I feel like that would have been the most reasonable, balanced approach. But hey, I'm not in charge of things. I'm just a commentator on a podcast. But that's my 2 cents, not 1 cent, 2 cents.
There you go. I will say it may technically count as circulated, because these ones aren't MS-70, and the guy did touch them. So does that count as circulation? It means mint state.
I mean,
but
now you're getting into the category of our 20s in MS-63 that were in bank bags transported over the Atlantic. Is that coin circulated? Well, technically, economically speaking, yes, it was used in an exchange of goods and money. So that counts as the textbook definition of circulation. But the fact of the matter is the coin retains all of its luster and has 100% of the design. So, I mean, like on a technical aspect, the coin still is uncirculated. But in a metaphysical sense, the coin, I guess, has been rubbed up on. But I mean, if you pick up a proof coin, right, do you circulate it? No, it's only if you take the proof coin and then you spend it for something else. I don't know. Now we're getting into philosophical arguments.
Right.
But I'll be honest
with you, any of them are MS-70.
No, there's not. There's not. I haven't seen one. I've definitely been looking. Now, did it say that the last set was going to be 5 million, or the whole collection selling would be around 5 million?
I think they were looking for the last set to be 5 million.
That definitely would be interesting. I mean, it would break a lot of records for sure. I do see a lot of pieces here that obviously would bring a large price tag, but I would not be surprised. Honestly, I think we should do that instead of guessing the price on a historical coin. I think the next podcast, we should guess the price of what this set will auction for, because I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And if you get 2 human beings with empty deep pockets, this set could go for an unknown amount of money. I mean, it truly is remarkable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm always a little apprehensive about a modern coin release going to auction, but that's just going to be my purist mentality, I guess.
I can tell you right now, almost every modern release that I can think of that's gone to Stacked Power's auction, if you were on the auction getting the coin live, you done well. You done well. Very well.
We'll see how it goes. I'm excited because I probably wouldn't bid on one of these myself.
I did. I've been on.
But I'm also not like a Lincoln Cent collector, so.
I'm not either. I'm just going to own something less than 100 other people in the world will own. You assume that everyone in this auction will at least get 2 or more. The big companies are going to come in and get dozens of them. So, when you realistically look at this, I mean, you're going to be one of a very few people on the planet that'll have the opportunity to own something like this.
Yeah,
I'm definitely curious as to what the variance will be, between number 6 and number 16, if that makes any sense. If the prices will go up in ascending order or descending, or if they'll just be, the last one is a huge outlier and the rest all sell for the same amount. It'll be curious. I mean, definitely guess the.
Yeah, if I had to say, I would say that the first and last will probably go for a little bit of price. You'll probably see like presidential dates, go for an interesting price. I know the Chinese love the number 8. That's their lucky 777. So you'll probably see 888 go for well. You know, and then you got to look at like certain coins. Like if I were you, if you're watching this podcast and you're like, hey, I want to buy one of these sets, what's my most strategic move to spend the least amount of money and make $1? I'd be voting for the set that has the best grades, right? Maybe a coin, maybe a set that has a 69 in it. You know, those are really where you're going to see specific numbers go for big money. Because like you said, obviously 1, 2, 3, those may go for a rise of money, because if I wanted number 1 and I lost, like I'm going for number 2, right? And so on and so forth. But once you get past like the top 20, the rest of them are just going to go for specialty numbers and then grades.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. It'll be interesting. I'm excited. I think it was a good idea. You know, all in all, and I'm excited to see what number 1 sells for. I don't know where they got 5 million from. It's not like they could, you know, look back and say, you know, have we ever sold one before? I think they just maybe picked a really big number that sounded good to them. I don't know. I don't know who reported the 5 million number, if it was Stacks or if it was maybe a media source, but I'd be shocked if they didn't have some reasoning for it. So
I'm just glad they're doing it, you know, because at the end of the day, if they didn't set this up, right, we wouldn't be talking about it. We probably wouldn't even know about it. And there'd be one big retailer out there that would have bought them all up and sold them to their clients, and we'd have never known it existed. So, I mean, it's really nice that they're at least forcing this to the open market. So that's cool too.
1,000%.
Very nice. We do have to start moving on a little bit, but we will give another update next Thursday, which I think is the auction date. So we might even be watching it live. Charles just hopped in. How are you doing, Charles?
Hey guys, what's going on? You have to excuse me. I'm sick and my voice is just gone now.
That's all right, man. Are you traveling right now?
I am. I'm headed back from Southern California right now. I had some meetings over here and I'm coming back. This is like the last push for me before I kind of, you know, just sit in the office for the next couple of weeks, which is I'm looking forward to actually. So
yeah.
Well, feel better, Chuck. Seriously, you sound like death, man.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, I know. Luckily I feel a little bit better than I sound, which is good, but my voice is just done. I was telling Jeff, I really want to do the podcast, but I'm probably going to just annoy people instead of contribute anything.
Well, you have your absence excuse from me, Chuck. So, you know, do with that what you will. But
not for me. I threatened him and told him he had to show up. I was like, you better show up.
Come on.
That's cool.
Cracking the whip on us, Jeff.
It's cracking the
whip. You need to dip out. That's totally fine, Charles.
Catch me up.
We were just talking about the last penny.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Omega penny. Do you have any comments on that, Charles? The right now, the last penny ever struck with the dies are $260,000, and the auction is December 11th.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, no real comment. I think we all discussed this in previous episodes, and you know, everyone's got their opinion on it. It's interesting, you know, how people value stuff is entirely personal. So, you know, it shows you that there's someone out there to buy it and buy it at a significant level. And if that's the case, so be it. You know, I'm not mad at it. You know, it just is what it is. It wouldn't be something I would personally collect, but
you can't see his face right now. I don't hate 2 thumbs down.
I don't hate it. You know, it's just not what I would recommend to our clients, but you know, there's something for everyone, you know.
Charles, the politician over here, saying what we all, you know, I mean, yeah, it's not what I would buy, you know, if I had that kind of money, which I don't, but if I did, I wouldn't buy it.
I'm buying it.
Jeff is buying it and does have that kind of money. Let's get rolling, folks. I actually didn't put this on the docket because I forgot about it until 4 seconds ago, but there's a new world record for the largest silver bar in the world. It was just unveiled in Dubai. It weighs 1,971 kilos, which let's do a little bit of math right there. Look at the spot price of silver by the kilo, which right now is 1,829. Let me do a little bit of calculations here for us,
almost
folks.
$500,000.
That is gracious. More than $1 million, $3.6 million.
I was way off.
Of silver.
Wow.
In just that. I mean, that's kind of nuts. Silver did just jump up to $57, $58 an ounce. I don't believe it was that high when they made this, but they are doing very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
1.3 meters
can't
long.
believe-
I'll read a little bit of the article here. The Dubai Multi-Commodities Center has introduced the world's largest silver bar in celebration of the founding of the United Arab Emirates in 1971. As part of the landmark project involving DMCC and leading industry players, the bar is now set to be tokenized through DMCC's trade flow, marking the first time a Guinness World Record recognized metal bar will undergo tokenization under a regulated framework. So you'll actually be able to own part of this bar, similar to what Don Kagan is doing with, he did the $1 million gold certificate and then now the 1652 pine tree shilling. This is a pretty interesting advent that's going on in the coin world. I've noticed more tokenization of high-end products, mostly to push towards that younger demographic who's used to purchasing stuff just off Robinhood or something like that. Kurt, you're a young dude. Does this get you excited about coins and bullion?
You're talking about tokenization?
Yeah.
Sorry for the non-verbal response there. But,
the silence spoke volumes.
A lot of the appeal for me personally of coins and bullion, rather, for that in that case, is it's tangible, and also I have complete ownership over it. Like if you own 60% of that bar and I own 39, and your buddy owns 1, it's like, I don't know, and you get mad at me, what happens then? Like I just see litigation, but
yeah.
Hey, I hope it works out. I hope it adds builds fanfare. I hope it works out really well for everyone that participates. I don't quite understand the technology or the processes, and I will not pretend to, but it's exciting, and whatever ideas we can throw at the wall to get in the press as much as possible and attract as many young people as possible is even more important. I say the better. So let's try it out.
Yeah, why not? Do we know what the largest gold bar is?
I
that a thing?
think
Jeff,
it
go ahead and
was.
say what you're thinking.
I know the largest coin was didn't the Perth make one? They made a huge kilo gold coin. I don't know if the bar is different though. But no, what I was just going to mention something on Kurt's comment about the tokenization. I actually was talking about an idea like this a long time ago, and I thought it was pretty cool because they do this in art. They do this in like old artifacts. I know the Babe Ruth's bat, I think, was tokenized. And I think it's just pretty cool because, if I am on Robinhood, right, I can go on there and for $5, I can own a portion of that bar, just like I'd own a stock that's a portion of a company. Like the stock market and buying a stock is theoretically the tokenization of a company, right? I can go on my brokerage account, I can go and buy a share, and it says that I own a piece of Tesla or something else. And I think a lot of people are really tired of the old, what is it, COMEX or whatever, where you don't really see it, but they say it exists. It's kind of somewhere, but where? Like, I know where that bar is. They probably has a live feed where I could always see that bar. So to me, I definitely, I like where I see it going because, you're, in my opinion, that's only going to make the market skyrocket because the bigger coins, like that $260,000 bid right now on the Omega Penny, like there's only a small portion of human beings that can outright afford something like that. While I guarantee you I could find 260,000 collectors around the world that would give $1, right? So, the fact that those people can be involved, they can get educated, they can get excited about something, right? And be able to own it on their on the books, right? In their stock portfolio, and then, get the benefits of that. I think adds a whole category of new section of bidders for high-end products like that, which only in return makes the entire market larger. Because right now, I think if you want to be a new collector, gold is completely out of question. Even common gold, unless you can afford $17,000 at Costco, right? So it really limits your ability to own something tangible. While I feel like everyone's got $1,000 in Robinhood and some cryptocurrencies, I like it. I kind of do. I'm a very tangible guy. I love the tangibility of stuff just as much as the next guy. But if the 1933 St. Gaudens was to go back for auction and someone told me that, like, hey, it's going for $20 million and there's 20 million tokens, like, so $1 per ownership, I'd buy a couple of them. Like, I would love to own a piece of that. I think that's really cool. So
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's it's a new wave. I think it might pick up. I will say there's like, I feel like for me personally, if I have a choice between $100,000 gold certificate I get to own one fraction of versus a silver certificate that I can afford and hold, like, I would probably go for the silver certificate over throwing my $130 or whatever into the fractional gold. What's up, Jeff?
Well, my counter to that would be I like your logic, but realistically, as probably Kurt and Charles can contest to, that silver certificate is worthless, right? And it probably won't go up in value in the next 10, 15, 20, 100 years, just like it didn't in the last 100 years.
Sure.
Right? You bring a silver certificate in perfect condition into me now, like, so I don't really want them, right?
You
but
don't. That's fine.
That gold certificate, right? That gold certificate.
That's because it's not fungible anymore.
Yeah, but that gold certificate has a rare value to it, and usually, as history has seen with high-end coins, will have a return in the future, right? If it goes up to get resold. So I think that is the hype to it. It's not just a collectible thing, but it's also an investment at that stage. It's an investment avenue as well. Like, I wouldn't spend $1,000 on silver certificates unless it was like a rare silver certificate, maybe. But I think my money would be best spent as $1,000 into the gold certificate, because I think all around, right, regular silver certificates, high-end silver certificate, and then a portion of the super high-end that I can never own gold certificate, I think my money would be best spent up there. And that's just,
That's fair. From an investment standpoint, 100%. Just from a pure enjoyment of the hobby, I still think I would go for the silver certificate just because I can hold it. I 100% agree. It is probably going to be one of the easiest ways to get your money, put it into a numismatic piece, and then get it out a little bit higher. The tokenization seems like, if it's on the same level as cryptocurrency now, that will be quite a good avenue. I just try to think of it for both the investor side and the guy who's just going to the coin show just to spend his $250 he saved up. Either way, it is still super cool to own $250 worth of $100 or $100,000 gold certificate. So I'm not knocking anybody. Charles, you seem like you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, several. Okay, so here's the thing. Overall, I like tokenization for collectibles. I love it. I think it's a good solution for collectibles. I don't like it, however, on bullion. I don't think it's worth it to do on bullion. There's existing ETF products that already do that and fulfill that need, unless you were to use it as a pure currency, which that's a whole other topic. But I'll tell you why tokenization works for securitizing collectibles is because the dollar amounts that are in collectibles are not significant enough to actually have and launch an exchange traded fund on an exchange. The dollar amount you would need to do that and have it make sense for you financially would be so astronomical. It would have to be the majority of almost half the collectibles market, right? So I think with what these new tokens and crypto is it's allowed a framework for people to securitize collectibles and allow people to own shares of them. So for that, I think it's a good solution.
And just to tie on to what you said, Charles, I actually agree with you. And I do think that whether we like it or not, I think it's coming to all collectibles. And I mean, there's already companies now where they partner up with investors. I think there's a couple in Florida, I believe, and I've seen them at coin shows where they just get a whole bunch of investors, they get a whole bunch of money together, and they buy big coins, and then they sit on them, and then they resell them. And I mean, that's the old school way of doing it. And I really think that the tokenization is coming. I think you're right. I think it's going to steal, right, 40-50% of all high-end collectible markets. And someone eventually, a Heritage, a Stack, someone is going to create the New York Stock Exchange, but for high-end collectibles. Just I feel like that's a brilliant idea, and It should exist.
Well,
It will,
Masterworks
you know.
has done this successfully already for
Yep,
art.
yep,
So.
yep.
Does that almost make owning the actual asset more valuable then, if everything is tokenized and it's all on like a digital trading
Well,
platform?
I think on some of the platforms, if you own a majority of it, you can pay an insurance and holding fee, and you actually get to hold it in your home. So I know that that's how some of them worked in the past. So like if I own 40% and I'm a majority, it's just like if you're in a building, right? If you're in an office building and you rent majority of the space in the office building, usually you get rights to put your name on the top of the building, right? Not every name you see at the top of the buildings are people that own the buildings. They just rent the majority of the space in that building, so they get rights to having their name on it. So I think that's what you're going to see in the future, is where like the people that would normally have big bucks now only need 30 to 40%, at least 51%, right, of ownership of a coin, to where they get. And the same thing works in stocks and in companies, right? If you have a majority share, right, you get a say on what happens and what doesn't happen. So I mean, I think that there's going to be a world where that's what you're going to start to see in collectibles, where there'll be a main place like Stacks or like Heritage or something that will be the main holder or the main display artist of this. Maybe it's even a museum, right, that you can walk through and see. And then, you know, there'll be a portion of where you can kind of like pay a fee, pay insurance, and, you know, you'll be able to hold it in.
Interesting. I do have an update on the largest gold bar that is also from Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. It was 300.12 kilos, which comes out to $40.6 million today.
Well, real quick, when was it made?
It was made in 2024, late 2024.
Okay, so last year. Okay, I was about to say, those people, man, that bar is worth, they did well.
They are doing very good. That is kind of unbelievable. That might be the move. Every country just needs to start putting all of their gold in one bar.
That'd be
Just
great.
start buying gold every year, throw it into the biggest gold bar we can make.
I mean, if you're looking at Fort Knox and security, if you just took the top of Fort Knox off, melted all the bars into one big bar, and put the top back on, it'd be really hard to steal.
Very true. Very true. It's easily stealable, is what Jeff is saying. He's tried and done it. All right, let's move on to some NFL medals. We're finally getting some NFL medals. This is Ultra Breaks and Celebrity Mint. I believe this is a mystery pack sort of situation, as they usually do. But it's nice to see some other mainstream genres and hobbies and niches hitting the coin market more and more. We've got different sports ball teams, and we've got different famous NFL Hall of Fame stars.
Don't say sports ball, please.
Fine, football. Anyway, it's a mystery pack kind of situation. There is a 10th ounce gold coin signed by Emmitt Smith and Jerry Rice, so that's very cool. There's only one of these in the entire set, and there are only 3,448 packs that will be available. So these usually do pretty well. The Celebrity Mint stuff, they usually sell out pretty quick. Have you guys had any experience opening Celebrity Mint stuff? We did the we've done a couple of them, but for this football one in particular, I'm not sure. I like football. I played football. What do we think, guys?
I think it's great. I mean, the more cross appeal products we have, you know, Celebrity Mint and Ultra, this is the collab that I think people have been waiting for. I mean, people like sports, they like autographs, but they may have not have heard of coins or realized how to collect coins. So these introductory pieces where people can already relate and already understand a lot of the story. I mean, if you're a Niners fan, how cool would it be to have a signed coin with a special label? I'm trying to zoom in here and see what it says. So
it says signature varies.
Okay,
so
yeah,
it's a different signature on each one, but
I mean, like, how cool would that be?
It's pretty sick.
For a lot of people who buy these, it's going to be the first coin in their collection. So that's all we're doing is planting seeds.
Yeah, I like that mentality. I think we have such a fantastic hobby here that just feel like nobody really knows about, nobody really talks about. So I really do like to see stuff like this coming out. And we'll try to keep up to date on these releases. If we get some, we'll let you know and see how it goes. All right, I only have one more. The American Numismatic Society. This is not that big of a deal, but it's maybe kind of cool. They're moving from New York to Toledo. I believe they've been in New York for quite some time now. No.
Oh yeah, for a long time, long time. That's a big move. I didn't suspect it, but it makes sense, I guess. It's probably more cost efficient for them to relocate or whatever. Typically,
Gosh,
yeah,
look at that building.
they've been there forever.
Okay, so it seems like this is the building they're moving to. They're moving to Toledo, Ohio. It's going to take up residence on the campus of the Toledo Museum of Art. It's going to happen in the first half of 2028. So we're actually announcing this pretty early. The American Numismatic Society is one of the earliest numismatic clubs in the world, or in the United States. I believe it started in the 1880s or something. Kurt, you may know the date a little better than I do.
Try the 1850s.
1850s.
ANS was
That's
founded
even
in the 1850s by Augustus
Even
P.
deeper.
Sage, who was 16 at the time. This is
There it
brutal.
is,
I mean,
yeah,
no
1858.
comment. I mean,
No comment. All right. I don't know. It's just a piece of news to talk about, just to bring it up.
think
Any?
about accessibility, right? I mean, think about it. I mean, like my dream is that every American, regardless of background, career, place in life, rich, poor, old, sick, black, white, yellow, purple, and get to see as much of America's history as possible. And I don't know. I think it's just going to be a little bit harder to do that when it's no longer in the biggest city in the world. Makes me a little bit
Sure.
sad. So
Sure. Toledo,
but,
Ohio. I've never heard of Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, well, I couldn't point it out on the map.
Toledo is a great city, and I'm sure that the residents will be very happy, and I hope that the move is successful. Toledo is a great city. I have been, but I just think that it'll be harder for many Americans to go out and make the trip as a sole trip to Toledo versus going to New York and then popping by, staying an extra day for the ANS. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I wish them the best of luck, though.
Yeah, it'll be cool to watch. I may have to go see their new building once it comes into fruition, because I'm sure they say they have an extensive collection of nearly 800,000 coins. So definitely something I want to go walk around. I've never made it up to the American Numismatic Society quite yet. I wanted to go around the table and just ask if anybody has anything cool they're working on they'd like to share. We can start with Kurt.
Right now, it's finals week. Again, I am a full-time college student on top of being a rare coin dealer. So the beauty of coins and being my own boss is I can kind of, make my own schedule. Looking forward to the fun show and the New York Ink show specifically. I'm just gearing up for that. So looking forward to seeing you guys in person. Make sure to tap me on my shoulder and say, hey.
We will. Jeff, what do you have going on?
Just trying to catch up on sleep. The new baby is, they're up every 2 hours eating. So, but everything's healthy. Everything's good. So really excited. I mean, we did just get in all those shipwreck coins yesterday.
True.
Which was pretty crazy. I got a pirate mug, Kurt, a real authentic pirate mug. So I'm really excited to drink out of that. I hope I don't get sick or something. But I'm going to be drinking out of a pirate mug with a pirate coin, wearing my shipwreck necklace, guessing heads or tails on my shipwreck coin right after this podcast.
Awesome. Charles, and you're traveling back home right now. You're anything interesting you're working on? I know the AI is still sort of in development. Has it been officially released to the public at this point, Charles?
Yeah. We have one product that's the main, and then 2 in beta right now that you could use, and it's doing really well. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it, and amongst dealers and individual collectors. So, and in regards to a few meetings I've had recently, I think big things coming for it. So I'm excited about that. And then, the ultimate integration with that in our auction platform is going to be something to definitely look out for. That's it. And then the upcoming auctions, we have the Coca-Cola prototypes ending soon.
Yep.
And then we got, top of the year post fun. We're going to have a Spanish colonial type auction. So that'll be good. And just always look out for us at bitnow.vegascoindealer.com.
There you go. And you can find me at Premier Rare Coins. You'll see my face if you Google rare coins. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Premier Coin Report, your weekly numismatic update. I want to thank my guests for sticking with me through the hour. All their links will be in the description down below. Before we leave, the winner of this week's Guess That Guy.
Charles is here. Charles is here. Should we
we should let Charles guess. We should let Charles guess. That's true. Charles, quick. Don't think.
What?
What's the price guide of a MS68 1903 $1 Louisiana Purchase McKinley in top pop? There's only 18 in grade, 9,000 estimated to be surviving out of a mintage of 17,500.
Wait, so it's a 1906?
It's a 1903.
Okay, 1903. That makes more sense. Okay, so it's a Lewis and Clark, you were saying?
Yeah.
Or McKinley?
It's the McKinley Louisiana Purchase. Sorry.
Okay, and it's a 68?
Yes, sir.
That's top pop.
It is top pop.
Cat coin?
Not a cat coin.
Not a cat coin. Okay, I'm gonna go 18,000.
Woo, the lowest. Okay,
18,000.
interesting.
All right.
Kurt was
So
25.
Kurt said 20. Jeff said 35. Charles just said 18. The correct answer is 21,500, making Kurt our closest without going over. Another point to Kurt. Very well done. Let us know in the description if you got that right. Right now, we are tied. Everybody has 2 points.
I'm on the board.
You're on the board. Yeah,
Jeez.
Jeff, you've got 2 points. Charles has 2 points. Gamera has 2 points. There's been a handful of times where nobody got it right. But here we are on the 20th episode. We're tied all around.
Jesus. 28th episode. We got to do something special when we hit 1 year, guys. 20th. 20th. Okay.
20th.
All right.
Still crazy. We made it to 20. That's kind of nuts. Anyway, thanks, guys. That's all. Subscribe.